Hello there, this is Nopename and welcome to this kind of experimental video, I guess. This is a tutorial on custom mobs in Minecraft Java Edition using datapack. If you don't know anything about Minecraft commands and datapack and so on, I recommend you to watch some tutorials, some basic tutorials about that first, because this is something a bit more advanced and I can't talk about all the basics. So yeah, you should know how datapacks work in general and you should have some knowledge about Minecraft commands. We are in Minecraft 1.15. Okay, so if you don't know any of my custom mobs, most of them are part of my adventure map project Zelda. And in there we have something like a snake or morphs from The Legend of Zelda. And I have also made hardhead beetles and beamos in the past. And yeah, in episode 2 of Project Zelda there will be some more custom mobs. And in today's video I'm going to recreate the snake. Yeah, it will be a bit different compared to the one in Project Zelda, but the principle will be the same. And this video is mainly about the core mechanics behind custom mobs. So yeah, I will write the code for the data pack in this video, and in the description of this video you will find a download for the data pack, then you can take a look at it again. And you can play around with the commands, and yeah, maybe it helps you with your own project. So I'm using the Atom text editor for this. This is the datapack. I'm inside the datapack folder of the world folder here. You should know what that means. So I called that datapack snake, and this is just the preset datapack. So let's rename that to snake as well. In here the tags, let's call it snake as well. Snake. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. And in here we have actual functions. Setup and tick. Let's see. Custom snake by Nopename installed. So let's try that out. So back in Minecraft, /reload. And it says custom snake by Nopename installed. Okay, so the datapack in general is working. So yeah, this setup function will be called when reloading the resource pack, and this is the tick function. It will be called every game tick 20 times a second. Okay, so I'm not well prepared for this video, to be honest. So we will start with, I think, the core idea behind my custom mobs. And basically, to create a new mob, I combine a bunch of existing entities. And yeah, so first we need one main entity. And I usually use a mob that already provides a basic AI, and the snake should behave as an enemy. It should attack players, and yeah, it will just crawl on the floor and towards the player and make damage. So that's nothing too complicated, and therefore we can use a silverfish. Summon silverfish, like that. And the sound is also kind of fitting, I guess. And yeah, it attacks. We can attack the enemy. And I should have brought a sword. And we can kill it. Okay. We don't need advancements. Nah. Okay. So let's go back to the data pack. We want a new function called summon.mc function. Okay, summon silverfish at the current position, and we will give it some tags. First of all, just snake. Or I guess we can already give it also the tag control, because this is the main entity that controls the rest of the entity. And yeah, so like a Minecraft /reload function snake summon will simply summon a silverfish. Okay, nothing special here. And now we want to add some more entities to it. And if we have several snakes at the same time, we somehow need to know which entity corresponds to which other entity, to which snake. Since one snake will consist of several different entities, we somehow need to know which ones belong together. And therefore we need another function, id. And we also need, let's go back to the setup function. We need a scoreboard. Scoreboard objectives add snake id dummy. I will call all scoreboard objectives snake underscore and then the actual name, just so we know that it belongs to this data pack. And so we will later call this function called id related to an entity, so something like execute as @e tag equals snake tag equals control run function snake id, something like that. And when we do that, we want a new id to be given to the snake. So let's see, we can either first check which IDs are already given to some snakes in the world and then find a new one depending on that. For example, if we summon the first snake, it will have the ID 1. The next one will get ID 2. If we kill the snake with ID 1 and we summon another snake, then it should get ID 1 again, since that ID is free. But that requires some additional commands, and I think I will just, to make it simpler, I don't think players will summon more than, what's the limit? Scoreboard player set at s. Oh, I don't have it in here. Reload. Okay. Scoreboard player set at s snake ID. Oops. That's 1,000 million billion trillion. Is that 2 trillion? I don't think one will ever summon more than 2 trillion snakes in one world, so I think we can just do the following. Let's go back to Minecraft. Scoreboard objective set display sidebar snake ID. So the weird thing with scoreboards is at the beginning there are no scoreboard values at all. So if I do a scoreboard players get at s, which is me, snake ID, there is no value, not even 0. So we somehow have to initialize with 0. I will create a fake player now. Scoreboard players set snake. How am I going to call it? Yeah, just call it snake. It doesn't really matter. We just need one with snake ID. Oh, I wanted to try this. Add. Okay, that works. So if you use scoreboard players add 0, it will force Minecraft to initialize the scoreboard value, but it won't change it. So if there is no scoreboard value at all, it will be set to 0. And if it's already 4, for example, and we run this command, it doesn't change the value. So we can use this in our tick function, which will run every game tick, and we will just add 0 to that score. And if you install the datapack in a new Minecraft world, it will just initialize the score, so we can actually use it. Okay, so now if we call ID, the ID function, we want to set a new ID value to the current entity that executed this function. Scoreboard players operation add s is the entity that called this function. Snake ID is the scoreboard objective, equals snake ID. This is just the score of the fake player we just created, so to say. And when we run this function again, we don't want the next snake to have the next ID, so we will just do scoreboard players add snake ID 1. So every time we call this function, the score will increase. And as I said, we would get a problem when it reaches 2 trillion, but I don't think someone will actually create more than 2 trillion snakes. So we can leave it like that. Okay. So now let's add, this is the summon function again. Let's add another tag, summon. And at the end, tag add e tag equals snake. Remove summon. I'm just doing that in case there are some other data packs, and maybe the other data pack is using the summon tag for something else, so I don't want this data pack to interact with that. Alright, so this means if we run this function, we will summon a silverfish with these tags, and we will remove that tag again at the end. And should I? Yeah, okay, I think that's okay. So that means in between here, if we write any command in here and we target an entity with snake and summon, we will only target this silverfish that we just created, and it won't interact with any of the maybe already existing snakes. So we can do execute as add e tag equals snake, tag equals summon. So the following command will be executed as this newly created silverfish, and we will run the function snake ID. Okay, let's go back to Minecraft, reload, clear the chat. So snake ID is 0. Let's run function snake summon, and this is the newly created snake. It's just the UUID and it has ID 0. If we summon another snake, it will have ID 1. Next one will have ID 2 and so on. And yeah, as I said, we won't have 2 trillion snakes, so we don't have to reset that. Doesn't really care. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we can go back in here, and now we need more entities. Let's see. How am I going to do it? I think I will just create them first. So summon armor stand at the current position. Oops. And it also needs some tags, snake as well. Summon as well. So now we have to change that. Tag equals control. Because we only want the control entity to get this ID. And okay, yeah, just for now, we will keep it like that. So the important thing now is, so later we can target all entities that belong to one snake. We somehow have to get the ID from a silverfish to all other entities that belong to this snake. Execute as @e tag equals snake, tag equals summon, tag equals not control. So now all entities that we create here that are newly summoned will execute the following command except for the main entity. And we will run scoreboard players operation @s. So every such entity will modify its own score, the snake ID, and it will set it equal to the snake ID of the newly summoned main entity. @e tag equals snake, tag equals control, tag equals summon. Okay, we just missed here. We said which entity to choose, but not which scoreboard objective. Okay, /reload, kill the armor stand, summon a new snake, and now we have 2 entities with that ID, which is the armor stand and the silverfish, which is the main entity for this. Okay, we will use that for all the other entities we are going to summon here. So now we don't want the snake to look like a silverfish, of course. That means we will give an effect to the silverfish. Tag equals control, tag equals summon, invisibility, forever, true, so we don't have any particles, and the armor stand, we want it to have no gravity, to be invincible. Okay. No, I think it's invulnerable, right? Invulnerable. Okay, but invisible. Like that. No gravity, invulnerable, invisible, and we want it to be a marker, so we only hit the silverfish, which is also the hitbox for the snake. Like that. And now armor items, oops. So the last slot here is for the head, Minecraft stone button, count 1. Okay, let's try it out. Reload, summon a new snake. So we have an invisible silverfish. And this armor stand we cannot interact with. Go set display cipher. Okay, we don't need that anymore. And it will we will use the button model to make it look like a snake. Kill at E tag equals snake. Okay, so of course we want the armor stand to move relative to the silverfish, and we want it to die when the silverfish dies. That means we need to deal with the tick function now, which runs all the time. So execute as at E tag equals snake, tag equals control. So all control entities should run the following function. Function snake, oops, tick ID. So yeah, maybe you can organize the functions in a nicer way. I will just put them all in this folder. Tick ID. So all the commands in here will be executed as one of the control snake entities. And now we somehow want to target all entities that belong to the current snake executing this function. And I think I should name it select, actually. Okay, so every control entity will run the function select. Okay, so let's first of all remove some tags. Tag remove at E tag equals snake, select and selected. Okay, now tag add as add select. So now only the control snake, which executes this function, will have the select tag. And yeah, remember this is run by all the control entities in the world, but it doesn't mean that these commands run in parallel. Instead, Minecraft will select the first control entity, run all the commands relative to it, then take the next control entity, run all these commands relative to it, and so on. So this means only the one current control entity has this tag. And now we want to select all the other entities that belong to this control entity. Execute as at E tag equals snake, tag equals not control, if score at S snake ID equals at E tag equals snake, tag equals control, tag equals select, limit equals 1. snake ID, run tag add as add select. That's already it. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. This means only the current control entity has the tag select. Now we execute as all the other snake entities that are no control entities, and we want to find out if they have the same snake ID score as the currently selected control snake. So execute as all the other snake entities, if score at s, so if their own score, snake ID, matches the snake ID score of the entity that has the tag snake, control and select, which can only be this one snake here, or one entity here, but just to make sure we will set it to limit equals 1. I guess the command wouldn't even work otherwise, so this means that Minecraft will select only one of those entities, but we only have one, so yeah. So if those scores match, and we will give a tag called select to all the entities that matched the score. And now we will do execute as add e tag equals select, run say add as. So they will just tell me their own name. Let's go back into Minecraft /reload and summon a new snake, and it doesn't work once again. Okay, right, okay, so we remove here belongs. What's going on? Belongs. What's weird? I don't know what's what's going on. Remove. I'm using space bar and it works. Okay, that was weird. I don't know. Okay, so we wrote that command incorrectly. Let's try again. Reload. And it doesn't work once again. So let's kill the snake first. Tag equals snake. That works. Summon. Wait. Okay, for some reason it didn't work at the beginning, but now it worked. Let's try again and kill the snake immediately. So silverfish and armor stand are selected. That's good, since they belong to the same snake. Okay, let's go back to the select function. We can remove that and yeah, tag add e tag equals select add selected, and we actually have to move that part. Okay, so here we will remove all the tag select from all entities, and we will give the tag select to all entities that belong to one snake. So in the following commands, if we use add e tag equals select, we will only target the entities that belong to the current snake. That's the whole point of this. And at the end we will add the tag selected, and let's go back to tick, and we actually have to move that here. So before tick we remove the tag selected from all snake entities. Then we will do all the command stuff, and at the end if we do this, tag equals selected, this will target all entities that were selected here. And that means if we kill one of those control entities, one silverfish, then we have some armor stands in here that didn't get selected because their control entity was missing. And that means we will have some entity. What the fuck? Okay. We have some entities that have the tag snake, but not the tag selected, and we will kill them because those are armor stands that don't have a silverfish anymore they belong to. So let's try that out. Summon and kill at e type equals silverfish, and we have to execute reload, of course, and now it killed that armor stand. So let's try it again. Summon the snake, kill the silverfish, and the armor stand is gone as well. Maybe you didn't see it. So the armor stand is where the button is at. If we kill the silverfish, it will die as well. Okay, and we got rid of spam in the chat. Okay. So we can select all the I forgot to get this thing in here. Select. So yeah, here when we do the tag stuff, I just call this new function so we don't have to write the commands in here. So that means every control snake entity will run this function here, and with tag equals select we will select all the entities that belong to the current snake, as I said before. But now we can also see it. Okay, in here we will write all the important code, like teleporting the armor stands to the correct control entity, to a correct silverfish. So let's go to the summon function again, and we actually need some more armor stands with a button, because the tail of a snake is longer than just one blob, one dot, whatever. So let's give another tag. Why isn't that working correctly? Usually I can select several lines at a time. Okay. Tail 0. Maybe it has something to do with the recording. Okay, weird. Anyways, so every armor stand will have an individual tag, tail 0, tail 1, tail 2, and so on. And so this is the tick function, and we want to teleport all the armor stands to the silverfish, of course. TP at E, tag equals select, tag equals not control, so we don't teleport the silverfish to itself, and add S is just the entity executing this function, which is the control entity. Save, go back to Minecraft, reload, summon a new silverfish, and I'm getting teleported as well. Okay. That's interesting. Why is that happening? Probably I have the select tag as well. Okay, good to know. Previously I told you that I want to use this tag in the selector all the time so it doesn't interfere with any other data pack, because if I miss that, like just now, weird stuff happens, because probably because of another data pack I had in this world. I, the player, had the select tag, and when I got selected by this selector here and got teleported to the silverfish. So now we don't have that problem anymore. We can summon a new silverfish, and if it moves, all the armor stands move as well. But as I said before, a snake doesn't look like a single dot. So, where is it? Die. Okay, so we want it to look like an actual tail. And we can use an interesting trick for that. So we won't teleport all the armor stands to the silverfish. Instead, we will only teleport tail 0, to the silverfish. It will be kind of like the head of the snake. And here we will do TP at E tag equals snake, tag equals tail. Which direction do I have to go? I think tail 1, tag equals select, and teleport it. Teleported to tail 0. So in one game tick, tail 1 will be teleported to tail 0, and after that tail 0 will be teleported to the silverfish. That means tail 1 won't get teleported to the silverfish in this tick. Instead, the next tick, tail 1 will be teleported to tail 0, which is the position where the silverfish was in the previous tick. And then tail 0 will be teleported to the new position of the silverfish. That means tail 1 will always stay behind a bit, behind the silverfish. And now we will do that for all the other tail entities as well. One more. So 6 will be teleported to 5. 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 1, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, 1 to 0. And in here we have to add limit equals 1, I guess, because Minecraft wants us to select only a single entity to teleport to. Okay, let's try that out. Reload, summon, and we already have something kind of similar to a snake, I guess. If it stands still, it contracts to a single dot. You could probably somehow improve it so it looks even better, but I don't want to make this too complicated, and the video is already 3/4 of an hour long. I don't know how to say it properly in English. Where is it? Of course we have to teleport the... Yeah, we have to teleport the armor stands down a bit. Execute as at E tag equals snake, tag equals not control, tag equals select. At the position, I need to do that because otherwise, so I want to use teleport, I know, 0.7 blocks below. because if I would just do it without this thing, it will use the position of the entity that is executing this function, which is the silverfish. But now I have to tell Minecraft I want to execute as all the other snake entities that are selected, and I want Minecraft to use their position, and relative to that I teleport them down. Reload. That works kind of, and they look dark now because they are inside the okay, that's weird. Because they are inside the ground. Why are you always sticking like that? Oh. TP at S, the current entity. Reload. No? Why? What? What am I missing? I don't get it. Okay, let's try to fix the shading first. I don't know. This is the TP part. Light execute as at e tag equals snake, tag equals not control, tag equals select. I think we could write that even more performant. Anyways, run data merge entity at S. So all the armor stands, basically, because we excluded the silverfish, all the armor stands will modify their own data, NBT data, and it will be the fire NBT data, and we will set it to 100. That doesn't really matter, they are invisible and invulnerable anyways, so reload will just make them appear bright again. But I still don't know why they stack on top of each other that way. Isn't the logic behind this that probably because of this stuff somehow. I thought they wouldn't do it because first teleporting them and then that. TP. Okay, I think I can do it differently. Since I told you before, if I just use relative coordinates without execute at S or something like that, it will just take the coordinates of a silverfish, and we teleport this armor stand tail 0 to the silverfish. I can just teleport it down a bit, and then the others should also you know, get the new position. Okay, they don't. I think I have to use execute at S run. This is the silverfish. No, I won't do that. I will use tick and do at S here. I thought I had done that here. So all the control entities will execute at their position the function that selects the entities and then does this teleport stuff. Reload. That looks better now, but we still need to teleport them down a bit more. so that looks fine now. I will also, use the relative rotation teleportation here, so the armor stance will also get a rotation from the snake, and I accidentally summoned a new snake, but that's no problem because now you can see that they work just as they should be. They don't interact with each other. The armor stands are teleported to the correct silverfish, even if they are at the same position and stuff like that. So yeah, that works the way it should. And no, I wanted to kill all snakes. Okay, summon a new snake, but a snake is usually doing that wiggly stuff, you know. So, but first of all, I'm going to add some more tail entities. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have to summon them, of course. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kill the snake, reload, summon a new one. And it's a bit longer now. Okay. The hitbox, yeah, okay, since we only have the silverfish at the hitbox, it's quite hard to hit it. I could add some more functionality, so the hitbox is a bit bigger, but I want to keep this somewhat simple because this video is already long enough. So we have that. I think we can close that now. So now we need a new score. In the setup, scored objectives, add snake, AN for animation, and animation, score what players, add as snake animation 1. This will target only the currently selected main or control entity, and it will increment the snake animation score. Score what players set it as. If the score snake animation reaches something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or above, we will set it back to 0. Okay, so execute if score at s snake animation matches 0, run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is kind of a timer for the animation. So here we have the basic position, so to say, of all of the tail entities, but now we want to move them to the left and right, depending on the current animation score, and to the left and right relative to their current rotation. So if the snake if the snake is looking that way, the tail should wiggle like that. If the snake faces that way, wiggle like that. Therefore, we can use TP at S and this stuff. If I do that, I will teleport myself one block into the direction I'm looking. And we will use that, but we will do this here. Teleport to the left, teleport to the right. Therefore, we have to make sure that they are facing the horizon exactly, so they aren't teleported down. Does that even work? No, I think if we teleport to the left and right, that can't actually work. They cannot be teleported up or down because you cannot roll here. You can only look up and down, left and right, but you cannot roll. So we should be safe, I think, at least until Minecraft releases a feature that allows you to roll your head clockwise and counterclockwise. Those things. Hey, for some reason it worked now. Okay, so if the animation score matches 0, then teleport it a bit to the left, a bit more to the left, a bit less again, to the current position, to the right, a bit more to the right, a bit less to the right, to the current position, and then to the left again. Hopefully that works. Let's find out. Summon a new snake. Oh, it works perfectly. Nice. Look at that. Okay, of course you can modify the item model. It would probably look better if the model of the button would be a cube instead of this stretched in one direction thingy. I don't know, but yeah, we have a snake, and if I go to adventure mode, it will actually attack me. And I can attack the entity and it dies. And that's it. Oops. Wrong button. That's it. I hope you learned something. Tell me in the comments if you're still watching, if you watched the whole video. Yeah, as I said, I hope it helped you and maybe it was some fun in addition to that. And maybe you didn't fall asleep. So yeah, you can download the data pack. It's in the description. You can use it if you take the actual code and put it in your map. It would be nice if you could credit me for that. But if you heavily modify it, you don't have to give any credits. I just want to give you the knowledge, and yeah. See you next time. Bye.